Foroglio emerges at the bottom of the valley like an ancient whisper, a small fold in time hidden among mountains that seem to watch more than protect. Here, in the village of Foroglio, water plunges in free fall just behind the stone houses, and the constant sound of the cascade blends with the dense silence that envelops everything. It is not an empty silence, but an inhabited one, made of memories, of old footsteps, of voices that have gone and yet remain. The buildings, raised with the patience of those who had no haste, seem to sprout from the ground itself. Each wall bears the marks of winter, of fires lit by generations, of time that does not run, it simply passes. Foroglio does not impose itself on the visitor. It reveals itself slowly, like a story told by the fireside, where every pause matters as much as the words. In this place, the modern world feels distant, almost irrelevant. What exists is a complete microcosm, closed in on itself, where life continues to obey ancient rhythms. Foroglio does not try to be beautiful, it simply is. And perhaps that is exactly why, at first glance, it seems as if it came from a fairy tale, when in truth it is made of the rarest substance of all, time lived with meaning. The road to Foroglio narrows little by little, as if the landscape itself wished to prepare those who arrive for what comes next. The mountains close in around the valley, tall and abrupt, forming a kind of natural amphitheater where the sound of water and wind echoes without haste. For much of the year, cold dominates the slopes, and snow turns access into an act of patience rather than mere movement. The territory is not just scenery, it dictates silent rules. Here, the terrain imposes clear limits, and the climate decides when to plant, when to harvest, when to wait. The sun appears through brief windows between rocky peaks, and every hour of light is used with an almost ritual attention. Isolation is not total, but it is enough to shape a way of life that is attentive, economical, and deeply connected to its surroundings. Foroglio exists because it learned to coexist with this demanding geography. The houses cluster as if seeking protection from one another, and the stone paths follow the logic of the mountain, never challenging it. In this contained space, the world is reduced to the essential. What remains is a direct relationship with land, climate, and time, a continuous negotiation between the human and nature in which neither ever fully wins. In Foroglio, the day begins before words. Light arrives timidly, sliding down the mountain slopes, first touching the stone rooftops still cold from the night. The sound of water never ceased, but at dawn it seems sharper, as if the entire village were breathing along with the cascade. There is no rush to wake. Time here does not demand immediacy, only presence. Doors open slowly, creaking as if they too were awakening. Footsteps echo briefly over the uneven ground, and the morning air fills the lungs with an almost cutting clarity. Someone adjusts the firewood, another studies the sky, measuring the day not by clocks, but by the color of the light and the density of the silence. Each gesture is small, yet carries total attention, as if nothing could be wasted. Dawn in Foroglio does not announce productivity, but continuity. It is the same ritual repeated for decades, perhaps centuries, where the simple act of beginning the day is enough. The village awakens without fanfare, faithful to a rhythm that does not seek efficiency, only balance. Here, living begins with listening to the water, the wind, the body itself, before any greater movement. Work in Foroglio does not present itself as a task, but as a natural extension of the body. Hands know the weight of wood, the roughness of stone, the resistance of cold earth. There is no clear separation between living and working. Both unfold in the same continuous gesture, repeated with the calm of those who have learned that haste exacts a high price in the mountains. Some tend to the small fields that survive among slopes and rocks, drawing food from a soil that demands respect. Others maintain paths, walls, and roofs, aware that any stone out of place can become a problem when winter returns. Physical effort is not romanticized, but accepted, part of a silent pact with the territory. Here, work does not seek growth, but permanence. What is done is what is necessary to cross one more season, to ensure shelter, warmth, and sustenance. Hours pass without being counted, marked only by the body's fatigue and the change of light. In this rhythm, labor becomes knowledge transmitted without words, learned through observation and repetition. In Foroglio, to work is a way of remaining whole within the place one inhabits. The paths of Foroglio do not lead quickly, they invite attention. They are stone trails shaped by use, not by design, following curves that respect the terrain and the memory of those who walked before. Each step seems to echo ancient footsteps, as if the ground held the weight of many lives moving in the same direction, generation after generation. Movement here is a conscious act, walking to the neighboring village, descending the valley, climbing again. Everything requires time and breath. Travel serves not only to arrive, but to observe. The change in vegetation, the sound of water receding or approaching, the wind that announces a shift in weather. The path is also a space for thought, where the body advances while the mind grows quiet. These trails connect more than places, they keep human bonds alive. It is along them that visitors arrive, news travels, small exchanges occur that prevent absolute isolation. Even so, every return reinforces a sense of belonging. On coming back, the village reappears as a familiar refuge, a silent center toward which everything converges. In Foroglio, the path teaches that connection is not speed, it is continuity. In Foroglio, time does not pass, it returns. The seasons are not merely changes in scenery, but forces that test year after year the relationship between village and mountain. Winter arrives with weight, covering everything in white and further silencing the valley. Snow erases paths, isolates houses, forces the body to retreat and the mind to wait. During these months, patience becomes an essential virtue. The cold allows no mistakes, and every preparation made beforehand proves its worth. Stored firewood, preserved food, well-fitted roofs, everything is put to the test. Silence deepens, and the days seem shorter, as if time itself were compressed. When spring finally breaks the ice, there is no euphoria, there is relief. Water runs stronger, the earth yields again, and green returns without ceremony. In Foroglio, the seasons teach that to endure is not to harden, but to adapt. Surviving here requires accepting that time leads the way, and that the human, no matter how persistent, always moves at nature's pace. In Foroglio, community is not affirmed through grand gatherings, but through the nearly invisible gestures of daily life. Someone watches over a neighboring house after a storm. Another leaves extra firewood by a door when winter stretches on. Proximity is born of necessity, but sustained by silent care, the kind that asks for no recognition. Traditions are not performed, they simply endure. They pass from calloused hands to younger ones, without speeches, without formality. One learns by watching, repeating, erring, and trying again. Childhood grows freely among stones and trails, absorbing the rhythm of the place even before understanding its rules. Here, knowledge does not accumulate, it circulates. Faith, when it exists, is discreet, almost intimate, mixed with respect for territory and time. There is no clear separation between what is sacred and what is everyday. Life, as it is lived, is already enough. In Foroglio, continuity does not depend on future promises, but on the conscious repetition of the present. To remain is a collective act, renewed every day, without fanfare, without haste. In Foroglio, Time teaches not through words, but through the silent repetition of days. Nothing here asks for haste. Nothing demands excess. The village exists as a serene reminder that life can be profound even when it is simple, and that remaining, at times, is the greatest act of courage. Between cold stone, ceaseless water, and the silence that envelops everything, the human relearns how to listen, not to the outside world, but to the inner rhythm that was forgotten. Foroglio does not offer ready-made answers, it offers pause, and in that pause, something essential is revealed. If this way of living touched you, keep walking with us. Subscribe to the channel to continue crossing villages, times, and silences where life still happens slowly.